Hi.
Hi everyone, I'm Sandylu Guerrero of Life's Truth Coaching, your transformational business and life coach, your host for Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends, with my very special guest today, Alvin Parra. And I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to log on, and I'm also going to make sure I log on my tablet so I could take some time and acknowledge you all who got on. So as you're getting on, for those of you that are on, remember to share. So on the left side of your screen, you're going to see a share button. Share the button. Alvin is going to give us some great information about business, about mindset, about financial planning, retirement, life insurance, etc. So you don't want to miss out on this very informative show, and make sure you share it with your friends. You want to make sure that you start setting up and securing your financial future, because if you live to be 100 and you're not prepared, and let's say there's a lot of people living to that age nowadays, you want to make sure that you have a plan. The sooner you start the plan, the better. You want to get informed. You got to do your due diligence. So make sure that you listen in. If you don't get to, if you're on the replay again, if you join us on the replay later, then remember to share. And also, if you have any questions, please feel free to send us messages or reach out to us as well. And remember to share. So hi everybody, and let me see, where am I? Let me check in on my tablet really quick. Is this us? No, this is not it. My tablet's a little behind here. But thank you all for listening in, for joining us. As I shared before, my show is all about supporting you and giving you information and insight about mindset, about commitment, about empowerment, motivation, and information that's going to support you in creating the most extraordinary life. So that is why, I'm bringing on different guests. One thing is my experience, my insight, my knowledge, and so on and so forth. The other is, like they say, two brains work better than one. So when I bring other people, they bring us their profession, their knowledge and experiences and information that's going to support you to creating the most extraordinary life. So it's all about supporting one another, collaborating, and giving you the best that we can to have you have an amazing, abundant, joyful, healthy life. Okay, so I want to acknowledge a few of you that got on: Elizabeth Gutierrez, Marcela Telemontes. All right, everybody remember to share. Letty Medina, Rolando Castro, I hope you enjoyed the graduation, and we'll be rescheduling you we'll be talking, but anyway, we'll be rescheduling you.
Rolando's great, by the way. He's awesome.
Yes, he is. So, and actually Alvin has worked with him before, so we have live proof here. So anyway, remember to share, everybody. Remember to share. If you have any questions whatsoever, please make sure that you post your questions. I'm going to do my best to keep up with everybody. Every so often I'll be checking on the messages and acknowledging you all. If you have something to say, comment, just even a hello, or anything like that, please make sure that you send us your information. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hello, Angela, I think it's two names, but Angela. Hello, Angela. All right, so I'm going to give you a little information about Alvin Parra, okay? Alvin Parra is the founder and president of Strategic Choices Financial. He is a native of Los Angeles, and his firm is located in South Pasadena. Alvin is a member of National Association of Independent Financial Advisors, specializes in helping families and small business owners protect and grow their retirement plans, implement health and Medicare plans, life insurance, and other vital insurance programs. He also trains and supervises over 50 independent licensed agents on the myriad of programs to help more families. Prior to becoming a financial advisor, he worked many years in public service with several local elected officials in the federal, county, and city level. He also worked in Washington, D.C. as a congressional aide and in the House Select Committee on Aging on issues affecting seniors. He served as a legislative and field director for retired County Supervisor Gloria Molina, and was instrumental in the development of many projects, including the East Los Angeles Light Rail. Alvin is passionate about serving others, community and individual empowerment and inclusion. On a personal level, he will be celebrating this August 20 years of marriage to Natalie Rios Parra, a school district administrator. They have 2 young sons, Alexander and Nicholas, 15 and 12, respectfully. So as you can see, if you're listening in, Alvin has a lot of amazing background, you know, like those, everything that he's done requires a certain level of knowledge, a certain level of integrity, a certain level of commitment to service and being of service. And I think it's fantastic, given that the field that he's in, that he's chosen, is one that we really need to be able to trust the person we're working with, because we're talking about our financial future, we're talking about our health, we're talking about our well-being. So having this amazing background is very it's amazing, Alvin. And you know, and thank you, Alvin, because we already had another guest scheduled, and Alvin stepped in. You know, I messaged him late last night and he's like, yes, let's do it. So thank you so much for joining me. Alvin and I met a few years ago. I don't know, about 5 years ago maybe. I lost track in a self-development training. I was one of the mentors, and that's how we met. And we've kept in touch, and we've collaborated and supported. And so I'm really excited to have him here and seeing everything that he's been creating in his life, in his family, and in his business. So Alvin, I like to share a little bit more about you, more about you, like things like, how old are you? Like, when did you start doing this? And the reason I ask is because I think sometimes we think if we didn't start when we're 20 or right off of college or whatever, then that's it, we're doomed, time is gonna go and we're done, we're too old or whatever. Like, share with us a little bit more about you.
Well, I mean, thank you, Sandylu. First off, I love Sandylu. I think you guys are all here because you love her too. So she's very passionate, energetic, and she's got my juices flowing, so I'm glad to be here. But let me tell you a little bit about myself. So born in El Sereno, East LA area, and 4 older brothers and my single mom. My dad died when he was in an accident when I was 2 years old. So you know, my brothers and my sister just really were passionate about helping others. My mom's always about helping others. So when I was going into junior high school in the community of El Sereno, and I went to Wilson High School for any Wilson High graduates in LA, had some great times there. I was always about helping others, so somehow I got pushed into the leadership class. I eventually became student body president at Wilson High School my 12th grade year. I was going to be an engineer, so I loved working with my hands and solving problems. In my garage, I would break a radio just to fix it. So I always loved solving problems, and I was going to be an engineer, but somehow in UCLA, I was my undergraduate. There's a lot of politics going on, a lot of changes going on. Apartheid was a big issue. Affirmative action, racism was big back in the late 80s, early 90s. So I said, hey, you know what? I want to get involved in helping people. And I decided to go into public service, government. My first job right out of college was working for a U.S. Congress member, Edward Roybal. He passed away about 10 years ago. He hired me out of like 20 people, and I was just right out of college. Had a great experience. I worked in Washington, D.C. I worked in government for different elected officials for about 20 years or so, and it was great. Worked for Gloria Molina. I worked for Councilmember Weezar for a while. I worked in different projects, and I had a great time. But about 10 years ago, I started noticing that politics was getting really dirty. This was, I mean, we think it's bad right now. It is really bad, but I think about 10 years ago, I saw the signs, because when you're in the inside, you kind of started seeing a lot of integrity being lost. And I decided to get out of it and just walk away from that. And I asked a friend, what should I do? And he says, Alvin, you're good with numbers and you like helping people. Be a financial advisor. As a Latino in the East Side community, I didn't know what a financial advisor was. Right? A lot of low-income families.
And around what time was this? What year was this?
This was about 10 years ago, 2007, 2006. And had no idea what it was, but just the next day, someone asked me, hey, come check out our company. We do financial services. So
out of nowhere,
yeah, it's kind of like
no accident. All of a sudden, someone brings up that topic.
One person brings it up. 2 days later, somebody brings it up again. Different person.
And now, how old were you at this time?
I was 39 at the time.
39. Okay. Were you already married?
Married.
Kids.
Yeah, kids already were about 5 and I guess 3.
Okay.
5, and so I was like, okay, what do I do now? A whole new career change. I go from government, working in politics, working in public service, to financial services. I have no clue what that's all about. But I was open to the opportunity. I knew people used to make money and so forth. I wasn't about making money, but I wanted to help others. And I got my licenses. I joined a couple of firms. We eventually gravitated, and I started learning my trade and becoming a trainer with this other company, great company, but they had some issues that I wasn't really aligned with my the way I'd like to see things. And eventually I broke away about 5 years ago to start my own firm.
Oh wow, yeah, that was like kind of when we met, around that time.
Around
that we
that
met,
time,
when you
I
were
was
doing
starting
the
my own
training.
firm, and I had to come up with a name, and I came up with Strategic Choices Financial. I'm very about making choices first and foremost. I believe there's choices, and we got to make them strategically. So I came up with that name, and I was blessed that once I broke away from that other company, about 20 to 30 agents wanted to join my company as well. These are life licensed agents, so they can sell annuities, life insurance, long-term care, disability, health insurance, and Medicare. So I got thrusted into a position of being not only a mentor of financial services, but also a financial advisor for clients. And for the last 5 years, I've been training people, helping clients, and entering new grounds. Like one of the new things I want to do is really transform the 401k industry. I'm really about justice. I'm really about when I see things that are not going right and people are being taken advantage of, I want to correct that and fix it if I can. And, I'm like a dog with a bone. If I don't see things right, I bite and you can't take that bone off of me.
I love that analogy. Now, I want you to back up a little bit though, because I think that, aside from, I definitely want you to give them this great information. And I think it's pretty awesome that, here at 39, you're already married, you have kids, you decided to take a career choice. What was the background conversation, like your inner conversation, the ego conversation that's kind of like, no, don't do it. And what was the one that said, you know what, go for it? Like, what was it?
Great question. First and foremost, I want to shout out to my wife, Nellie. She was very supportive of the career change. We had no clue what financial services was. In my first year in the industry, probably made like $4,000.
Was that full time? Were you doing that?
It was kind of full time. I was doing other stuff, but that was what I was full time, really. So I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? This is not right. Like, I can't understand this. I'm supposedly Wall Street and all these people making all this money, and I must be doing something wrong. There's something wrong with me. But I decided that, I want to help people, and I see other people being successful, so why not me? So there was a shift in me to say, hey, you know what, there's something here, it's successful, there's other people who are successful with it, why can't I be? And I just need to put my commitment, put my head down, not be distracted, and focus, and just had a great support system. Some people would say no, some very close friends were like, get a job, get a 9-to-5 job. And I just said, no, you know what, I'm very committed to helping people, I'll figure this out. It took a few years, and I'm still trying to figure it out, so to speak, and because I'm the kind of guy that always wants to learn something new.
And it's always changing. It's an industry that's constantly changing, especially right now with our new government. There's a lot of things that are being challenged or changed, and some things are not all to our benefit. So now you got to find something that's really going to be able to help others that is available to them, right? The best that you can, I would imagine. I know you, so I'm saying the best that you can. Because you can only do so much, right? To a certain point.
Well, there's a book that I read years ago which you just kind of made me remember. It's called Who Moved My Cheese?
Yes, I remember that book. That's a great book.
So,
if you haven't read it, Who Moved My Cheese?
It's a very simple read. You can read it in maybe a couple of hours at most. But it still means a lot to me because it's all about change. And as human beings, we resist change. And when something comes our way, we freak out and we get stuck. So if you read the book, you'll realize that sometimes you just have to put your tennis shoes on your shoulder, and when the change happens, take off and go with it. So I see a lot of folks out there, they get stuck, they get like a deer in headlights. Happens to me. I'm sure it happens to you.
I have my moments. Brief though, but yes, we all have them.
So the object is to kind of like be in that moment, and then, okay, what did I learn from it? Where could I go? And just move, and things are going to happen. Because activity really breeds success at some point.
Exactly. So even if you're in doubt, you still keep moving.
Right. So I see a lot of good friends out there and other folks out there that don't know where they're going and how business is going to take out. So long as they're focused, they're committed, and they do the activity correctly, the productive activity, that's going to lead to success. That's going to based on consistency. because there's people who are not consistent. That's the reality of a lot of
Yeah, you know, I was talking to somebody recently, and he's really successful. He has a great business, and you know, he says, you know, I pay attention to the trend. I see people they're in for a year, 2 years, 3 years at the most, and then they're gone. Like I see them because his thing is advocating for Hispanic businesses. So, you know, and he tells me that, and you know, when he tells me that, I'm like, yeah, thank you for telling me, because that keeps me, you know, on point, right? At the same time, because it is not easy. It's not easy, you know, and you know, I can imagine here you're going from government jobs and the
steady paycheck,
great benefits and everything, and all of a sudden everything changes. But it's about believing and being clear on your vision, I would imagine.
And one of the things I learned as a business owner, or any of you hoping to start your business out there, is that there are so many things to know about business. Payroll, filing taxes, what's a S Corp versus a C Corp. So look for coaching on that. Don't try to figure it out on your own. I try to do a lot on my own, but thank goodness I had a sister-in-law and a brother. They're both tax people. So I went to them for advice. I went to other folks. There are just so many resources out there. Don't try to figure it out yourself. And you know, just how do you pay for workers' compensation, EDD? What's the difference between those two? What's your sales FTB tax? It is a little challenging to be your own business owner, but it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile. But you do have to follow some steps, and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are people out there, consultants out there, who can, you know, for your time to be able to, just a few dollars, they can cut down time dramatically. I mean, a perfect example, I had a client of mine who never started a restaurant, but wanted to start a restaurant. And he had a successful restaurant. I was talking to him and interviewing him, so to speak. What did he do? He basically hired another successful restaurant owner. He goes, I'll pay you $2,000 if you tell me everything about a restaurant. Give me 1 week of your time. Paid him $2,000, learned all about the right vendors to buy the food from, where to buy the materials, the tables, all that stuff. And on the second, third week, he's already starting his own restaurant. Mm-hmm. What do most other people do? Their ego gets in the way, and they have to try to figure it out themselves. And then they spend 2 months trying to figure it out themselves. How much time and money that was wasted there?
Yeah, we don't realize. I think that sometimes we don't realize how important it is. You got to be purposeful with your time, and that you also got to invest. I know, and that's the hard part. Sometimes we, you know, especially when you're just starting your business, you know, you don't have maybe all the, you know, you don't have the money coming in that you would like, but there's always a way. You know, I think that sometimes there's resources available we don't use, like our network, you know, people that we know. Like I remember last year I went is when I quit my full-time job and decided I'm going to coach full-time. And I reached out to you and said, hey, Alvin, you know, I want to do an introductory workshop at your space, you know. And we hadn't talked in a while, but we already had that connection. And you were like, yes, definitely. You know, when you need it, when you need it, let me know. And it's using those what we can that's available to us. And you know, it's all about win-win, you know. How could I support you? How could you support me? We all have something valuable to share with one another. And I'm glad that you brought up that point, because I think that sometimes you know, like social media, it's a lot of it is free. You know, I use it as a marketing tool, my way to reach you, to give you some great information that'll support you in having an extraordinary life. If I was worried, well, one, obviously I'm not worried about how I look or whatever, I wouldn't be doing it. But the point is, you got to use the resources that are available to you. Social media is my opportunity to reach people everywhere. I have somebody who follows me from Nigeria. Wow. Yeah, it's really cool. But I use the resource that's available to me. You use the resources that are available to you. We got to use the resources. So. Well,
we're on this planet for a very short period of time, and while we're renting our bodies here, you'll be surprised at how many people out there are willing to help you. It's just sometimes our ego gets in the way, and we don't want to ask for support. And like, thank you for calling me, and you know, you'll be shocked at how many people are willing to help you. Just ask. Get over your ego and just ask for support. And as a financial advisor, that's sometimes talking about finances. People are very shy about that. Mm-hmm. And that's why you mentioned earlier about trust. They got to find someone that they can trust and share. And then you start talking about finances, because everybody needs a coach, personal development coach, a business coach. Look at the greats out there, the Kobe Bryants. They need a coach, because you know, we just certain things we can't see. So someone has to help coach us a little bit. And we talked about Rolando Castro. He you know, I used his services a few years back. I wanted to try to clean up my credit a little bit more, and his firm taught me some things that I didn't know. So, you know, there's coaches out there. Use them. Use your coaches and seek it.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things we gotta learn that we gotta invest. You know, sometimes I see people barter. You know, if you have a talent and you know that other person might be able to use it, then you know if you don't ask, you don't know. You know, if you don't ask, it's already a no. And if you ask and they say no, well, you didn't lose anything other than you know you at least you made the effort. But you gotta ask, and it's just really important for us to use our resources and so now that we're here and we're going to use the resources, let's start talking about let's acknowledge some people first. Okay, yes, definitely. So those of you who just got on, I'm with Alvin Parra, financial advisor, president of Strategic Choices. Remember to share. So if you haven't shared already, please share. Remember, sharing is caring, and this is all about supporting people and creating an extraordinary life. So by sharing, you're being part of that difference. So I want to acknowledge a few of you that got on. Opolinar Herrera, Veronica Corona. Hey Veronica, hola, hola, she says. Mike, Millie says, hello Alvin, is that what you know? Yes. Hi, Gaviota Dominguez. Hello Gaviota. George Vasquez is watching us. Hey, Jorge. Raquel Lomeli. Jorge Vasquez says, Alvin is amazing. You must schedule an appointment with him and get a financial plan going. You got it? All right. Mike Alvaro is watching. Hey, Mike. Mike says, hi, coach. Irma Delgado. Hello, Irma. Hello, Sally Estrada. Ben Sanchez says, Alvin, you always have been supportive. Great leadership. Thanks for all your support. Awesome. Thank you for acknowledging him. Hi, Edison. Edison Castro. We got to talk. I want to have you here sharing some of your tips. He's an attorney, bankruptcy attorney, and so he's someone that I feel like I trust and that could give us some great information. Great guy. So we'll be talking. I'll be reaching out to you. Make sure you answer the phone. Rosal Schaefer, she's all in leadership. She's an artist. Awesome. I'm glad that you're watching. Great. This is great information so that you can, all that money you're making, you can make sure you're allocating it the right way. Shoni Fuentes, hi Shoni. Sandra Dominguez, my cousin. Jesse Torres, hey Jesse, how are you? Joe Guerrero, my brother over there in Vegas. Hi Tony. Well, I call him Ching in Vegas. Yes. And Veronica Lujan. Hey Veronica. Veronica's on a positive note right now, on a really high. Congratulations on the new job. I'm excited for you. All right, so now let's give these people some great tips on how to prepare. See, this is one of the reasons that I also like, I was like, I already had planned that I was going to call you anyway, and thank you for coming anyway, because I work with senior citizens in low-income housing for a few years, and I saw how much they were struggling in just getting the basic needs: house, food, medical attention. You know, that's what it came down to. And a lot of them were on Social Security, and they were getting about anywhere between 800 to maybe like, and this is like pushing it, 1100, you know, type of thing. And they were really struggling. And yes, they were in low income housing, so they paid less rent, but we're still talking about the rent was like still $700 or $800. That doesn't include light, you know, electricity or any gas or food or anything like that. So they rely on Meals on Wheels, or they rely on family, hopefully, because they don't always show up, you know, things like that, to just be able to live a fairly comfortable life. Fortunately, they do offer these low-income housing properties, tax credit, HUD, and you know, maybe I'm going to bring someone to talk about that later, that gives them a quality life, a decent, you know, place, because of the requirements of the government to have these places kept up. But other than that, like, I don't know, like, I want to be on vacation at the beach. I want to, you know, like, I want to be able to, at the end of the day, you know, and I think that those are the kind of things that we really get to start looking at now. If you don't already have a financial plan, even now, if you already have one, you want to start already, you know, keep looking, because there's new programs, new things that you have, so that you can be able to really make the most out of your money. So let's go ahead.
Let's go. So I'm glad you brought up seniors, because I'm very passionate about helping seniors, because they're very vulnerable, and you can tell if a society is good on how it treats its children and its seniors. And the United States has been okay, but it's regressing, because now we're starting to see a lot of seniors living on paycheck to paycheck and living less than that. So I actually want to talk to a lot of folks out there, probably not seniors out there, very few seniors out there, probably our age.
It's our age, a lot of them.
And
if you're younger, even better, because
yes.
you got a head start.
So I actually want to have this conversation with you guys. The way I look at financial planning, I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to, like kind of what Sandylu was saying, talking about seniors, how they're living right now. Let me give you a couple of quick statistics. I'm going to talk about Social Security. Social Security, while we're working right now, a bit of our paycheck is going into Social Security. And a lot of folks in our age don't think about that. But Social Security is, again, it's a little guaranteed pension check when we retire. The average American today receives about $1,200 a month from Social Security. After working 40 years, that's what they're getting, the average American. And here's the sad part. 50% of Americans receiving Social Security, that paycheck of $1,200 represents more than 75% of their income to live off of.
Wow.
50%, they live a little bit off of that Social Security. Only about 40% have more than that, meaning they actually have other resources other than Social Security check. So that means a good 70% of Americans are really dependent on that Social Security checks because they haven't planned well enough to save to supplement Social Security. So if you're not working for a government entity right now, you're not a teacher, you're not a police officer or something, then that they have a private pension that's backed up by the government. All of us that work in the private sector, we're paying into Social Security. That is our pension. And when you hear your company offering a 401k plan, sign up. Sign up. Why? Because that's going to be your second paycheck. The goal is for that to be your second paycheck. So you get Social Security, let's say it's $1,200, $2,500. You want this other check coming in on a monthly basis to pay for that lifestyle. That's where I think most of my clients that are in their 60s, 65, no one's ever had that conversation with them about what that Social Security check and that second 401k check and how it contributes to the lifestyle. So for some people it's a rude awakening because they're already about a year from retirement and they realize, oh my God, I'm used to a lifestyle of $80,000 a year and it's dropping to $30,000.
Oh wow, that's a big drop.
That's a big cut, and they've saved nothing else on top of that. So if there's any message that I can get to you tonight is that start saving in a 401k plan. How to invest that 401k money is a whole different conversation. Are you conservative, moderate, or aggressive? Regardless, just start saving. Because just put $100 a month, $200 a month, $500 a month. The rule of thumb is about 5 to 10% of your paycheck. If you can do that, it may be painful, but sometimes we have to make choices. And finance is one of the things I've learned, and I'm not the best, practicer, because before I got into financial services, my wife was a saver, I was a spender. Probably still the case right now, but I've learned a lot about financial services a lot, and I'm starting to implement a lot of what I'm learning. One of them is, do I want it or do I need it? Very big financial tip. Ask yourself, if you're looking at that nice shiny Android phone or the iPhone 7, the 8's coming out, do you need it or do you want it? And if you don't need it, then don't get it, right? Or figure out something else. So every time you go shopping again, do I need it or do I want it? So if you just want it, then hey, think twice about it. Maybe you can do something different. Because I think a lot of Americans, we have a spending problem, not so much income problem. Because we know what our income is, our spending sometimes goes a little higher. So if I can give some tips, that's one of them. Secondly, just know that like a chess game, you've got your queen and your king, and you got all these pawns, right? There is an industry out there that wants to bite off all of your pawns to come after your money. And those little pawns, think about your dollar bills. So Starbucks is going to take $4 here. That cable bill is going to take $200 a month here. A lot of people want your money. You got to start thinking about how you can start paying yourself first. Now, if you want to enjoy that cable phone and so forth, just make some great great choices, but also be aware that there's just a lot of people out there that want to take money from you that don't provide a major service for you. You got to learn how to pay yourself first.
Can you explain about that? Because I hear it all the time, but I know that everybody doesn't know what it means to pay yourself first. In the financial language, what does that mean?
You know, great thinking. It's hard to pay yourself first, but generally when you receive a check on a weekly basis, whether it's $500 a month or $2,000 a month, you should definitely pay yourself first. So 10%, $200, put it into another checking account that has nothing to do with your personal expenses. It's just a savings account. And then with the other 90%, pay your bills. What happens with most people is they pay all their bills and they spend like crazy, and whatever's left over, maybe I'll pay myself.
Maybe I'll save something.
Maybe I'll save. The most successful people out there, like our grandparents, you know, we got to take.
Well, you think of how they would live on minimum wage, and they would still buy a home, and they would still raise 10 children. And it's like, wow, what did they do?
How did they do it? So we need to take notes from you know, the folks that grew up in the 20s and 30s and 40s. We need to actually go back and start thinking about paying yourself first. So they were good about saving, even if it was under the mattress, which I don't advise that, but you know, that's what they were doing.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. But start learning how to save yourself, whether it's 10, 15, 20, 30, $40 a month, and put it into another account that has nothing to do with your checking account or your savings
And you
account.
probably don't want to get an ATM or anything that's attached to it where it's easily accessible.
Yeah,
right?
there's these great accounts. There's Ally Bank, ALLY Bank. It's an online bank, FDIC. It's a regular bank, but it's online, so it's hard to access, and it pays a 1% for a savings account. I mean, I don't want to put down all the other banks out there and all the credit unions, but if you want your money to grow and getting 0.1% at this bank versus a 1% here,
there's a big difference.
10 times difference. So look at those kind of online banks. I think Capital One has an online bank as well. Just go online and type in online bank, and you'll see some great accounts out there. And you just have to mail in your check, and it takes a while to get it out. So it's not an ATM where you can easily get that money out. Mm-hmm. So that's a very good tip too. So I think the other thing too is, you know, you wanted me to talk a little bit about life insurance. The foundation of all financial planning is life insurance.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And before we go in there, let's talk a little bit more about the financial. We're good with time, so I put my watch in front because then I lose track of time. But now, I think it's great that you give that tip about paying yourself first, because I think, and it's really about committing to, like, no matter what, just like if you had you have to pay for your health insurance, you know, it's automatically deducted from your job if you work for someone, and if you work for yourself, you make that payment. You just plan as if it was another payment, but except that this payment's giving you interest because you're putting it away, and it's just about committing. I think whether it's 5%, 10%, even 1%. The point is to be consistent and make a commitment to. And as your income increases, you continue to increase how much you're putting away. And I know sometimes it feels like a lot, you know, but you know, one, you got to do your due diligence, and I think that's important, right? You're giving us a few tips of different ways to look. You got to do your due diligence. I know that it could be annoying and tedious and whatever, and I get it. I totally get it. But in the bigger picture, just imagine struggling to be able to pay your rent when you're, you know, 70 years old. When you don't have money for food, how are you going to eat? You know, hopefully Meals on Wheels or something's out there for us by the time we get to that age. So really, you know, be mindful about that. And I think it's such a simple thing, but we're not used to that. I think that we're in a I want now, I have to have now. And nobody says you can't have that. I think you can budget for those fun things too, right?
Yeah, oh, you could definitely. So paying yourself first is about that. Setting aside a lot of money for yourself, whether, again, it's 5% of your paycheck or 10% of your paycheck. It's building something. Cash is king, and the more cash you have, the more choices you can make. And yes, we live in a microwave society. What I mean by that is, you know, our microwave breaks down, we just throw it away and buy another one. There goes another $100, right? So, but you know, there's ways to fix it. So do you buy the microwave, or do you just try to find somebody that can fix it? The other day, for instance, my shoes were getting a little rusty and a little older. So I could have bought a new pair of shoes, but I went to the local shoe repair place, and he fixed it up for $5-6. My shoes look brand new again.
And you don't have to break them in already, like come
Yeah. So that I'll buy a new pair of shoes a few more months down the road, but there's decisions you can make right now that could actually save you a lot of money, where you could actually make good choices for you and your family. I mean, when my wife and I got married, it took about 3 years for us to save money, but we were shocked. This was back in the late 90s. We were just saving and saving, and I remember that's when the espresso machines came out. So we ended up buying this expensive espresso because we didn't want to be going out. So we bought one, we made our espressos at home, and saved a lot of money that way. And we still got to enjoy our espressos, but we saved money by buying our own machine.
Like you mentioned Starbucks earlier, every drink is like $4 and up, mostly, right? So you could even buy the one they sell at the market. You can make it at home, and you're still having Starbucks coffee, but now it costs less than if you would have want one every day for $4 minimum to Starbucks.
Now, do you guys know at Starbucks, if you come back with the paper cup, it's a 50 cents refill?
I didn't know that.
Well, I think it's for regular coffee. I haven't tried it for the other drinks, but yes, regular coffee is a 50 cents refill. So you buy, it costs you $2.50 for the first cup. The second time, keep that cup.
So if I come to the next day, it's good to know. I rarely go. I go like maybe twice a month now, because I made the conscious choice to not be spending that way. That's not where my money needs to be going. And once in a blue moon, I'll have pick me up, Starbucks coffee.
Yeah.
So now I know I'm gonna save my cup.
Well, now gas stations now, we go to a local gas station, and now I'm starting to see a lot of these gas stations are forcing you, so to speak, to do a car wash. And if you don't get the car wash, they charge another 20 cents a gallon. Make a conscientious choice. Do you rather have that 20 cents in your pocket or that gas station's pocket? And if it's in your pocket, then find another gas station, and you might have to drive another mile away, and you save that 20 cents and it stays in your pocket.
Or carry cash, because they also give you a cheaper price when you carry cash.
Exactly. If you use your credit card or debit card, they charge you an extra 20 cents a gallon or 10 cents a gallon. So that's money you're giving away. Give it to me if you want to give it away to other companies, right? Or give it to somebody that cares. Yeah. But there's a lot of things out there, like you were saying. There's just an industry out there that wants to take our money away, and we just need to be more conscientious about how we can save for ourselves.
Yeah, we just need versus want, and also we of course we still get to have things that we want, but we get be responsible, plan it, and not be an emotional buyer, right?
Well, there's another
shiny purse and those shiny shoes, and I really like it, and it just doesn't work sometimes.
There's another budget philosophy out there that I heard of. It's a little tough, but I like it. It's the 80-10-10 budget. 80% goes to your bills of your monthly paycheck. 10% is pay yourself first, and that's for the future. That other 10% is your play budget. So what you got to do is you just build this little piece, whether it's $200, $300 a month, and at the end of the month, if you haven't spent it, you must spend it. Whether you go take a weekend somewhere or buy something, definitely enjoy.
Or like if you want to go on a trip and that you just kind of buy a gift card to Southwest or something anywhere. That you know that you already have it allocated.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Now, how about if someone say someone had and I don't know if if you do this well, but say someone had, I don't know, 10 grand, and they want to be able to keep it growing and be able to a year from now or 2 years from now, like pull out a good chunk. They want to get the best of it, and I know it's all about aggressive. What kind of thing would you suggest?
Great question. So
because I know there's what do they call those? Where it's a few months. I can't remember what it's called. When people save for a few months and they get a CD. Yeah, but there's
perfect question. This is a question I get often, and I like to tell folks there's usually 3 places to invest your money. The first one is the bank. Banks are going to pay the least, and they make the most. So they pay you 0.1%, and then they charge credit cards at 29%. So they're making a killing, a lot of banks. The second place you can save your money is mutual funds, which you mentioned. You can put it in the stock market, so it can go up, but it can go down. There's a lot of risk there, and a lot of lack of education there, and I think intentional. For instance, did you know Fidelity, great company, and I don't want to put Fidelity on the spot here, but I am going to put them on the spot. Fidelity was sued 2 years ago for excessive fees in their mutual funds. And do you want to know who sued them and successfully won in court? It was the Fidelity's employees.
Oh wow!
Fidelity's own employees.
Because they were putting their money in their.
So if Fidelity, the company, is taking advantage of its own employees and charging them excessive fees, what do you think about the public?
Oh wow! And we don't know.
And we don't know, and we trust. Oh, I see that green, line in the commercial, right? So it's like, okay, that must be a reputable company, but you need to be vigilant. Am I giving that money away or not? So I mentioned the bank. You mentioned mutual funds, and the third options are insurance companies that offer annuities, index annuities. They're like a CD on steroids. The rates are a lot higher, but they're longer contracts. So it's like a 10-year contract or something, so you really can't touch it. So that's definitely that's great for retirement plans. So there's really, again, a bank, mutual funds or variable products, and then annuity insurance companies. So there's three places to invest your money. Now, if it's liquid, you need to keep it liquid. So sometimes the bank is the best option because you need it liquid. The more liquid you need money, the less you're going to have as far as rates are concerned.
And liquid meaning
available
to
at
you
a moment's notice.
Okay.
So if you get a 1-year CD at a bank, you can't touch it for 1 year, but it's going to be a better rate than the checking account or savings account.
What are the average rates for that?
A checking account, savings account is about 0.1%. You know how bad that is? That means that if you want that money to double, let's say you have $100 growing at 0.1%, that's 0.1%. It's going to take 720 years for your money to double. 720 years.
That's awful.
Yeah. It's just a double from $100 to $200. So really think about that. But if you have it liquid. Now, there are other options out there like that Ally Bank that I mentioned. It pays almost 0.9% for a year. And it's semi-liquid too. So you can choose to go with that. There's other companies that I've worked with, other investments that have like commercial first notes that actually pay a 5% rate of return over 1 year. So talk to a financial advisor that just doesn't do one product, that does a variety of products, and they can get 5%. There's another company that works with oil. I'm not a big fan of oil, but if you want to earn 8% per year, you can do that. And that's a 1-year commitment. So there are other options out there that can do it, and there's no risk. So if you go in the market, there's a chance of making money, but there's also a risk of losing money. Well, so you got to make that decision. Where do you want to do it? You want to go have your money protected and grow very small, or you're willing to go up to 1 to 5%, or you want to try to get that 20% in the market and then end up with negative 20, or go with that 20%.
Well, I think it goes back down to the saying with high risk come high rewards, and of course, and I hate to use the word failure, but or it just doesn't work and you lose your money. So it's really about how aggressive you want to be in anything. I mean, it's not just finances, right?
I think the stock market has done a great job at, I don't want to use the word fooling the Americans, but they kind of made us believe that that's our only option for investments. There are other options that we can consider. It doesn't have to be in the stock market. And this whole conservative, aggressive, you can be 20-year-old and still be conservative. This whole thing that you have to be a 20-year-old and aggressive is just not true. That was Wall Street's. See, Wall Street makes more money when you invest aggressively. They don't make any money or very little money when you invest conservatively. I've seen 74-year-old senior that came to my office. She was about 80% of her $104,000. That all she had, about 80,000 of that was in aggressive stock market, which was wrong because she can't afford to lose that money.
Not at that point, no.
So just knowing what the options are and how to be more clear at what you expect your money to grow. If you can't stomach a 20% loss from 100,000 to 80,000, then you need to go more conservative and look at other products that are more suitable for you. It could be the bank, or it could be an index annuity, which has no protection and good rates. They're not going to be huge rates, but they're going to be good rates. So there are options out there. You just need to ask and look for an independent advisor. If it's not me, there are a lot of great people out there that can help you. Just kind of get a sense of what do they offer. Do they just offer one thing?
Yeah, you want someone that has. I think that's the same thing with when people want to purchase a home. If you go to one bank, it's one bank with 2 or 3 programs, or you go with a mortgage company and they work with a lot of different banks with a lot of different programs that may or may work for you and that
Right.
really fit your needs. So it's really being mindful of using someone like Alvin. Yeah, call Alvin, okay? I'm gonna advocate for Alvin. Anyway, and also, and actually, he recently got. I just got a new life insurance policy with Alvin. I'm a big advocate for life insurance. Some of you may know, I've lost a lot of loved ones in my life. I lost my brother at 21 by a freeway sniper. Who would have ever expected such a loss? Thank God my parents had life insurance. And I remember getting kind of in a little argument with my dad before that, because I was like, Dad, you don't have money. Don't be paying for our life insurance. I work, I have my insurance. My brother's already an adult. He should be having his own insurance. And my dad had lost his brother at a very young age, and they never knew what happened. He was like 28 and they found him and he had passed. So with my dad, it stood with him that, no, I have to make sure I can cover these expenses. So, thank God my dad didn't listen to me, and thank God I didn't have to learn the hard way, because we didn't have to do begging or anything for my brother's services. And when my dad passed and my mom passed, we didn't have to worry about how we're going to take care of their services and things like that. Because they did have insurances and life insurances. And I think sometimes we think because we're too young or we're healthy or whatever excuse we have that we don't need to get it. But like the reality is that it's our responsibility to have insurance. And I say that because I've seen, people struggling and on, doing group me's and what is it? Fund me's and car wash and things like that. And I'm going to share with you, like my own personal investment. I did a fairly basic, and he can explain more about life insurance. I'm not an expert. I trust him, although he gave me the information I needed to have. For 100,000 insurance coverage, no, I didn't have to have no physical exam or anything. I'm 43, going on 44, and I only got to pay $26 a month. I mean, think about it, $26 a month. My family doesn't have to do a car wash if I die. They don't have to figure out what they're gonna, who's gonna pay what. I don't have children or a spouse, so my siblings would be the ones having to figure this out. So I feel like a sense of relief because I had a lapse in my insurance, and Alvin took care of me. So there's a lot of great programs out there. This is our responsibility to our loved ones. We die and we don't have to worry about the bill, but the last thing you want to leave is that lasting memory with your family that they were stuck with a burden. When someone passes, it's very hard to begin with emotionally. Now add on top of that, how am I going to pay for their services, or how am I going to do something for them that's honorable and that's going to recognize them, and leave in good spirits. So anyway, I'm gonna let you talk, but I just had to say that I'm like big on that. We've had this conversation.
Well, life insurance, I'll be honest with you, it's not the most sexiest topic. Some people are probably like already kicking off already, but I ask you, just hang on for me for a few minutes here. Just hear a few things I have to talk about life insurance. First off, there's lots of different types of life insurance programs that will excite you, and they excite me because I love choices. Now, I will tell you, if you love somebody or owe somebody, you need life insurance. I'm going to repeat that again. If on your Facebook page you have some pictures of family members, then you need life insurance. If you have a college bill, or you owe a mortgage or something like that, then you owe somebody. So again, if you love somebody or you owe somebody, you need life insurance. So there's no questions and doubt about that, because the financial collapse of your family that you leave behind could be real. We've heard stories of families who, they had to sell their home. They were almost on the verge of homelessness because they didn't have anything. The husband or the breadwinner died and they couldn't pay the mortgage, so they had to sell it, and that's it. Their dreams were forever shattered. I'm blessed that I can afford a little bit more. I have $1 million life insurance policy. I know I'm worth more dead alive.
I tell my siblings, don't kill me.
I'm gonna check my brakes every morning. But here's the reality on life insurance. It's very simple. First and foremost, how long do you need life insurance? Do you need it for 10, 15, 20 years, or do you want to cover it for the rest of your life? Really simple. Once you know that, then your agent can help you decide that. Secondly, how much? Here's the rule of thumb, very simple. If you have a mortgage, include the mortgage, let's say it's $200,000, and then you add 5 times your salary. If your salary is $50,000 a year, you need $250,000 worth of life insurance plus your mortgage, $450,000. Very simple formula. At that point, then you figure out you want a 20-year term, a 30-year term, or you need a return of premium. Return of premium is very exciting. What is return of premium? People don't like buying term insurance because it's kind of like auto insurance. Paid it for 20 years, never got into an accident, and all that money's gone. Return of premium, you pay more, but if you don't die in those 20 years, you get all your money back. So ask your life agent for a return of premium if you're interested in term. Yes, it costs a little bit more money, but think of it as a savings account. You'll have all that money coming back in 20 years. If, God forbid, you do pass away, the life insurance benefit goes to your family. So there's term insurance, return of premium, universal life, which never expires, index universal life, which builds tax-free cash value, whole life. A lot of people like a whole life policy. They've got second to die, final expense for seniors who just need $10,000 to $15,000, $20,000 for burial expenses, simple like that. So there's a lot of different types of life insurance, but more importantly, you just want to figure out, what do I need for my loved ones so that I don't become a burden on them? Mm-hmm. Because think about it, even if you're a 23-year-old student right now, and God forbid you passed away in an accident, your family's going to have to bury you, and the average burial expense is anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. $10,000 to $20,000. Does your family currently have $10,000 to $20,000 just sitting in the bank account ready to bury you? And even if you do, is that fair to them?
Yeah, exactly. I think, and that's why I say it's our responsibility to make sure that we do take care of these things and we do invest in these things, because the one thing that's guaranteed for sure is that we're all going to die. And when we die, what memory, what legacy are we going to live? A legacy of burden and bills, or a legacy of something beautiful, beautiful memories, an opportunity to really mourn and only focus on that and be with that and memories? Or how the heck am I going to pay for this?
Right.
You know, who's going to chip in, that kind of stuff. So, and I think also if you have children, I think that's a big thing. You want to make sure that you're going to make sure they have a secure future. There's nothing or no one will replace you as a parent to your child. However, you don't have to make their life harder than it's already going to be. And that means taking responsibility and making sure that you're properly insured. Get informed. I know this is not the kind of conversations we like to have, but I'm going to tell you from life experience, we absolutely need to have these conversations and do the research. So if you don't have insurance, and like for me myself, I got a $100 basic because, you know, I don't have children. I don't have all kinds of assets or anything like that. Now, as things change for me, then I will be revisiting what is it that I want to leave behind. So the reality is I don't need 100,000, you know, but I want my family to go on vacation. A great memory. And have a big party. Yes, yeah, exactly.
Well, here's some little great things about life insurance. I'm going to throw out some facts about life insurance that you're going to hopefully like, or maybe think, wow, that's interesting. First and foremost, almost every life insurance policy has a terminal illness rider to that. What do I mean by that? That means if a doctor has said, Sandylu, you've got 12 months to live or 10 months left to live. So you're like, oh my God. You actually, in your particular policy, you can actually access up to $95,000 of your $100,000 before you die. For medical expenses, take a vacation, quit working, travel around the world, have a big party, pachanga. So that's called a terminal illness rider. So that, again, if you're diagnosed with a terminal illness and have less than 12 months to live, you can access, in some cases, up to 50%, 90% of your death policy. So ask your agent, how much of a terminal illness accessibility do you have? That's great. Secondly, there's another thing about life insurance people don't know about. I've had this question asked just a couple of weeks ago. What about the suicide? I don't want to bring that up. Does it cover? After 2 years, it does cover, believe it or not. It's called it's the end of incontestability period. You can actually challenge it. The insurance company cannot pay out. They'll return all the premium if there's a suicide in the first 2 years. But God forbid if there's a suicide after that, it will pay out. No questions asked.
What about, I think this is something I think is really important for people to know, that there's also accident insurance. And the thing about that is that if it's not an accident, you're not going to get that money. And I
Right.
think that's really important for people to know the difference.
Yeah, there's a natural all-cause life insurance. Life insurance.
All cause.
Life insurance. Make sure it says life insurance. And then they have accidental death insurance. Accidental death and dismemberment. You get that in the mail. Maybe your company offers it. It only pays out in certain types of accidents. And not even all accidents. You'll be thinking, hey, I got into a car accident, or my brother got into an accident. No, I had this one policy that said I had to prove to my client that wasn't real life insurance. She didn't believe me. She was paying $150 a month for this great policy.
And those are so expensive too.
They're not necessarily, they're really cheap, but she got this one that looked like life insurance. It almost fooled me until I went to like page 22. It said for her to claim that $150,000 death benefit, she was already 60 years of age. She had to die in a sudden, violent, unexpected accident. I mean, what is that?
What does that mean? What is it? Someone has to come and chop you in pieces?
And it has to be violent enough. Somebody has to determine that it's violent enough.
And and I'm glad that you brought it up too, because the thing is, and it brings me back, when my mom passed away, my dad had, life insurance, and he also had accident insurance. And what happened is my mom fell and sustained a head injury. 3 days later, she passed away. And I had to dispute it with the insurance. I said, she fell. That's an accident. It doesn't say, and I try to, go through it and, be a detective and look through the whole thing. I was like, it was due to the fall that this happened. It's an accident. So, after a few back and forth, they honored it. But, it really, those are things that I'm telling you guys, this is important information. We got to know this stuff. And I thank you so much for giving us this great information. We're already getting ready to wrap up, but I want to acknowledge a few of you, and I think, Alvin, we got to do this again. There's so much information, but we got to do this again.
We can talk about other topics too.
Yes, send me your requests. What do you want to know more about so that we can address it? But I want to acknowledge some of you other people that jumped on, and thank you all for being on here. Remember to share. If you haven't shared already, share it now. And if you just jumped on, you can always go back to my page. You can go to I'll be uploading on YouTube later tonight, and but it'll still be on my page. You can look at it anytime and share it, because this is valuable information. Okay. Let's see. Hey, Juan San Juan. He's the owner of Gloria's in Huntington Park, and he's a philanthropist, and he sings really great, by the way. We got to go eat at his restaurant sometime.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because you love music too. Jamie Guerrero, my sister-in-law in Vegas. Hi, Jamie. Stephanie Mesa, Lupe Galicia, Rick Camino, Norma Rapco Vargas, Miguel Contreras over there in the IE. Hi, Miguel. Lupe Cruz Sanchez over there in Texas, one of my cousins. Wow. My brother says everything costs. Yeah, everything costs. So we've got to be mindful. In fact, my brother works, and he even supplements his income for the extra stuff he wants to do by Uber in Vegas.
That's wow.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's total entrepreneur mind, and he's working on some other projects he's got going. I'm excited. Jaime Paredes. Hey, Jaime.
Congratulations on your baby.
Oh,
Jaime.
Yes, Jaime. Your baby's adorable. Congratulations. Yay. And he says, Alvin is a man.
Good man.
Omar Marquez. Hey, Omar. Congratulations, too. You just got married recently. Saw your beautiful wedding pictures and your wife. Congratulations. Christina Copa says, best investment for me was the 457 and the 401k through my employer. So great. You're doing it. That's a great. Ralph and Nancy Castellano. They're my cousins over here in Southgate. Hello. Emmy Donis Flores. Hey, Emmy. Hope you're doing well. Jose Rubio. Vincent Guerrero. Vincent Medina. My cousin too. Vincent Medina.
Big family.
He says great information. He's also an entrepreneur, business owner, and he'll be here. And a movie producer. He's working on film now.
Wow.
But he's going to be on my show in a few weeks too. I mean, we're still working. I still got to work out the details, but I'm excited to have him. I'm
actually inventing something.
Oh.
But maybe you could have a show of potential inventors, people who are inventing things.
Oh, that'd
just
be really
bring us
cool.
together, and we'll show what we're working on.
Oh wow, we'll talk off the line, and I want to hear more about it. That's really cool. Chito Al Montano, Patricia Almaraz. Patricia says hi, Sandylu girl. All right, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. Are there any like last words, any words of advice to people out there? And also, how do people get a hold of you? Because guys, Alvin is my life insurance agent, and I know he's someone that I definitely trust, and I highly recommend. He's very knowledgeable. He's been doing this for a very long time, and he's just a man of integrity, and that's really important in this type of industry and business, and was something this important to us. So do your due diligence. Of course, there's a lot of amazing people that do what he does out there. Do your due diligence. You want to be comfortable with the people that you work with. You want to feel like you can trust them, and this is a really big commitment, and I highly recommend that you reach out to Alvin, but if not Alvin, someone else. But make sure you take care of yourself and take care of your family. Your future and the future of your loved ones depends on you being responsible and doing your due diligence. Anyways, go ahead and give us your
I would
last
just
words.
say thank you, Sandylu. You're amazing. Isn't she amazing? She's great.
Thank you.
A few tips to think about. Again, do I want it or do I need it? That's something to live by dramatically. Teach your kids that as well, if you have kids as well. Make choices. Don't be afraid to seek advice. And this goes on everything in life, not just financial services, because again, money is, a lot of folks don't want to talk about money, but you've got to trust somebody at some point. So there's a lot of fantastic advisors out there. The laws are changing now. Actually, as of June 9th, the law changed, requiring financial advisors that do retirement plans. They now, believe it or not, they now have to do what's in the best interest of the client. That was never the law before.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Wall
Wow.
Street fought that. So as of June 9th, really it's a soft entry, but January 1st is going to be a big change. Wall Street now has to disclose all of its fees and all this stuff. Wow.
That fine print.
I'm actually excited about that because, you got to be doing what's in your best interest. And believe it or not, Wall Street fought that. It goes to show you. So definitely there's some great people out there. Look for some advisors, agents out there. There's so many that want to help. But don't just, you can't change the world from your couch.
Well, we kind of are, Well, you got to, if you're using your resources that are available to you, right? Because, we can do this in our home and do our research and reach out to people and call people.
But you got to actually at some point take some action on it. Call somebody, look at trust, look for coaching. Again, what's worked for me is always be open to coaching, whether it's personal development, business development, learning financial service products. I'm always learning something new. And I love that. And how do I be a better parent? How that I'm always looking at better ways to be a better parent with my kids. Sometimes I'm not the best, and I always try to improve on that. I listen to what people tell me to do. So there's so much we can learn out there, and if the message I can get out there is be open to ideas and change, and how you can be a better business person, better father, mother, brother, sister, and just make the world a better place. And that's what I want to do.
Thank you. Yes, and it's all about us supporting each other and using the resources available to ourselves and reaching out for support. And just quickly, I'm going to say, if you can tell them all the services that you do, because that way they know. And look, if you already have a policy, if you have a retirement plan, and you want to maybe run it by Alvin, he can say maybe give you advice in doing something different, or maybe this is a better choice. Because I think our insurance policies, sometimes our life insurance policies were good at the time when we got it 10 years ago, but now maybe we got to change because it's going to term out, and we got to start planning, because as we get older the rates go up too, health changes, etc. So if you already have these services, but want to double check or make sure you have the best thing for you, reach out to Alvin. But give him maybe a little bit of everything that you do, like all those services.
So some of the things I specialize in is retirement planning. I love retirement planning. It's all about the numbers that I talked about, and how to help you understand what your future is going to look like and what you could be doing now to make a brighter future. So 401k rollovers, if you quit your job and you're not sure what to do with your old 401k, I can help you with that. Life insurance, we talked a lot about that tonight because I think that was a really important topic. All types of life insurance, if you need me to help you get a free quote, or you want to compare it with somebody else, let me know. There's a lot of great services out there. Just get some life insurance. Health insurance, I have some agents that do a lot of Cover California. I do individual health insurance. If you work with a company that has health insurance and you're not happy with that, have me talk to the business owner, because I also do group health insurance as well. One of my other specialties, I have a YouTube video. If you go to YouTube and type in Medicare, the #1 video nationwide is mine.
Awesome.
On Medicare.
Congratulations.
So I love helping anyone that's turning 65. They need, it's very confusing, Medicare, and I make it very easy to understand. So if you have a parent or a grandparent that's turning 65, give me a call and I'll help with Medicare, long-term care, disability, a lot of those things, and just short-term investments like that 5% in 1 year or 8% in 1 year. There's another plan that does 65% rate of return over 7 years. Amazing product. A lot of my clients are really asking for that with really no risk. 65%, meaning if you have $10,000 in 7 years, it's going to be $16,500.
Oh, that's really great.
Yeah, it's like about a 10% rate of return per year. So those are the kind of things that I work with, and I'm here to help.
All right, and how could they get a hold of you?
Oh, great. You can go to www.strategicchoices.com or call me at 626-441-2284 or email me at alvin@strategicchoices.com. That's it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Alvin, once again for your friendship, your support, and for giving us and sharing your insight and being willing to jump in last minute notice in sharing your information. This is really important. I think this is I think that I can share a lot of videos and share a lot of information, but this is huge and really big and important. This is probably one of the most important topics that I could ever have. So I'm glad that you're the one who presented it to us. But anyway, if you just jumped in, you can always watch it on the replay, play it back again, share it. If you want to get more information, read it, hear it again, watch it again, etc. So that maybe if you missed something, you know what to look into. And don't hesitate to reach out to me or to Alvin if there's any way we can support you, if I have any questions. But once again, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. Quick hi to Victor Barraza, Rick Gamino, and Liz Sellis. I know Rick posted a comment. We'll reply to your comment after. But anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in to Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends. Thank you to my friend Alvin Parra, financial advisor, president of Strategic Choices, and thank you all for taking the time to choose you, to choose your life, to choose empowerment. Knowledge is power, and when we use it to forward ourselves and other people, then more power to all of us. An opportunity to create an extraordinary life. So remember that it's your life, your choice. We all get to be responsible for ourselves and for what we leave our loved ones as well. Remember that, and I'm going to share, my tagline is always, remember that every moment's a new moment. You have the power to choose how you want to live from moment to moment. You do have a choice. Have a great night, everyone. Talk to you later. Love you. That's a wrap. Bye.